Before we begin, I want to recognize that Syracuse University lost one of its own yesterday. Justin Robinson, a senior studying economics in the College of Arts and Sciences, passed away yesterday with his family in his hometown of Palmetto, Georgia. Justin was a very active student on the Syracuse University campus. He was a member of the Black Celestial Chorus Ensemble, Jump Nation, and the Multicultural Empowerment Network. As you can probably tell from his activities, he loved to sing and was passionate about travel and helping others. He will be greatly missed by his family, friends, and all who knew him. And then also, Central New York higher education community is mourning the loss of a great academic leader. Elizabeth Garrett, president of Cornell University, passed away last evening. She was the 13th president of Cornell, and she was defined by her colleagues and peers as vibrant, passionate leader who devoted her life in the pursuit of knowledge and public service. If you could join me in keeping Justin, President Garrett, and their families and friends in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you very much. For the last 10 months, I have had the honor of serving, as I said, as the chair of the search committee for the position of Vice Chancellor and Provost of Syracuse University. Before I get started, I want to really thank the members of the search committee for their time, dedication, and service to the university. This has been really a terrific opportunity for me to work with and get to know these individuals. We're a diverse group. We include students, staff, faculty, alumni, and trustees. I'm very proud of the way that we relied on each other's strengths and experiences collectively to listen to and to represent the interests of the entire university in the search process. Through the tireless efforts, due diligence, and stewardship of the university by the search committee, that has helped us lead to this appointment of Vice Chancellor and Provost. The committee believes strongly that Michele Wheatley is the right person at the right time to serve as the Chief Academic Officer of Syracuse University. Michele has an impressive array of academic experiences. She has literally done it all. She's been a classroom and laboratory teacher. She has developed and nourished a research program, a funded research program that has had considerable impact on her discipline, which is comparative physiology. I have to give a few nuggets about Michele. One of the things that I think is she's gotten a lot, as I'll tell you a little bit later, she's received a lot of awards and honors, but one thing that I'm particularly impressed with, which very few people can claim, is that she has 30 continuous years of funding from the National Science Foundation, which continues today, which is a remarkable accomplishment. Thank you. In addition to her experience as what I would call a traditional academic, she has also initiated and led large multidisciplinary initiatives in education and research. She also has a wealth of experience in terms of administration and leadership in administrative positions. Sorry. Okay, through the search process, I had the opportunity to meet a lot of folks on campus and also the various candidates. So I spent a little bit of time with Michele. She is a terrific individual. She's very thoughtful. One of the aspects that I really like about her is when confronted with challenges, she deals with them directly and with grace. She's articulate and an effective speaker. You'll learn that in a few minutes when you hear from her. I also like the fact that she uses a bi-directional exchange process when interacting with different groups of stakeholders. Collectively, these experiences and skills have positioned her to lead Syracuse University's academic future to an unparalleled level. You'll hear more about Michele in a few minutes, and then after the program, there'll be an opportunity to meet with her, although we have a lot of people, so it may take her a long time to go through this crowd. So before I turn over to the next person on the program, I wanted to take a minute and tell you a little bit about the search process that led us to her. Last April, the Chancellor charged the search committee with identifying, interviewing, and ultimately recommending the university's next academic officer. We welcomed this appointment and the opportunity that it provided to help shape the future of Syracuse University, and particularly towards its academic excellence. One thing that we were immediately impressed with was the interest and passion by you folks, the university community. I was overwhelmed by just the interest and the dynamics of what's going on campus. We received many notes and emails and calls from you telling us about the experience, credentials, and qualities that you would like to see in candidates for provost. We met with many of you in person to discuss our academic mission and vision, the strategic planning, priorities of the university, and yes, to hear your frustrations with the institution. Many of you nominated exceptional people that were considered for this position. Each of you played a role, directly and indirectly, in selecting our new Vice Chancellor and Provost. On behalf of the entire search committee, I want to thank you for your interest and your contributions. None of this would have been accomplished without your advocacy for positions that are important to you and collectively to the university. Thank you very much. Now please join me in welcoming another member of the search committee, Taj Bhatia. Taj is the professor of linguistics at the College of Arts and Sciences, and most importantly, he's a long-term friend of mine, and I was very happy to have him on the search committee. Taj?
Seems like almost magical. Believe me. I was in Chicago on Sunday and Saturday, and we took a train, and flawlessly, there were no problem at all. Amtrak was right on time, and it's so magical that it seemed like I could make it here, and I'm here. I was sweating. I did not want to miss this event, but so on behalf of the College of Arts and Sciences, my home college, welcome to Milton Atrium of the Life Sciences Complex. It is fitting we are today here in Life Sciences Complex. In addition to being the largest single academic building in university history, it's a physical expression of our commitment to collaborative interdisciplinary scholarship. Just as its opening signaled a new era of discovery for the College of Arts and Sciences, today's event mark a new chapter in the life of Syracuse University. You may be wondering why Life Sciences Complex is so important to me. After all, I'm a linguist, humanist, and I teach South Asian languages. And my office is clear across this campus in H.B. Krause Hall. I'm also a firm believer that the liberal arts and STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, they are not mutually exclusive. The term liberal arts is, after all, a shortened term or the version of liberal arts and sciences. Most of the student biologists, chemists who roam in this building every day devote about a third of their curricula to their respective fields. The other two-thirds encompasses a range of other disciplines, including humanities and social sciences, and also my field, linguistics. The liberal arts teach our students to think critically, communicate clearly, analyze and solve complex problems, and understand the world. The liberal arts are about the meeting the challenges of the future, the seeds of which are sown every day across campus in HBC, my building, and here in Life Sciences Complex, and in our satellite campuses around the world. In addition to being a humanist or humanities professor, I'm a fellow in the SU's Forensic National Security Sciences Institute, and I teach and study forensic linguistics. Every Wednesday I show up here. I teach forensic linguistics on the 3rd floor of this building. Much of my work draws on psychology, linguistics, law, and pattern recognition, fields whose origin may be traced to the kinds of work done in this building. When I was asked to serve on the Vice Chancellor and Provost Selection Committee, I accepted it enthusiastically with future of arts and sciences in mind. Uniquely understanding the significant role it plays in the university's academic strategic plan. The thread, when this word scares me, it's thread, not threat. The thread that weaves all our students together, regardless of background, expertise, race, and ethnicity, is a Syracuse University education grounded in the liberal arts. With Dr. Wheatley at the helm of our academic strategic plan, the future is bright for not only the College of Arts and Sciences, but also the entire campus. Dr. Wheatley's ability to communicate with all constituencies, her experience with crafting and implementing a strategic plan, her prowess securing external funding, make her an immediate asset to Syracuse University. On behalf of the College of Arts and Sciences, I welcome Dr. Wheatley in our Syracuse family. So please give it an applause. Her excellence and expertise, combined with Chancellor Sovrod's bold vision, are what Syracuse University needs to embark on a new era of teaching and research excellence. Thank you very much. And now I invite our member of the subcommittee, Aisha. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It's such a pleasure to be with all of you guys here today. I would first off like to thank Chancellor Subaru for appointing me on the search committee quite literally 3 days after winning the Student Association elections last year. It was my first task as SA president, and I'm so excited to be able to join the committee on this search. I appreciate your leadership and commitment to enhancing the student experience and dedicating to building the preeminent research institution that we all work at today. It has been an honor to work with and learn from this committee for the last 10 months. Before arriving at Syracuse University, I never imagined the opportunities I would have during my time here as a student. I have grown so much as a student, as a leader, and as a person over the last 4 years. To say that this has been an incredible and eye-opening experience would be a complete understatement. As the lone undergraduate student on the search committee, I knew I had to examine all the candidates through the student lens. One of the most frequent questions that I received from a lot of students is, what does the provost actually do? So it was the question that guided me through the search process. There are many traits that I was looking for in our provost. I wanted an engaged communicator with the keen ability to effectively interact with students in all constituencies across the board. I wanted a provost who would engage directly with students on key issues like student affairs, academic policies, and the future of our university. But at the same time, I also wanted a provost who students would want to take a selfie with on the quad, who you would see at the Dome, just as we do with our chancellor. And finally, I wanted a provost that was going to be a visionary leader on our campus who students, faculty, and staff would find memorable as well. And I found all of those characteristics in Michele Wheatley. I knew very early on in the process that she represented the future of Syracuse University based on her incredible answers to all of our questions and her vision of our campus. Of course, the absolute icing on the cake was that when she walked in one of the interviews, she came in with a stunning orange bag, which made it absolutely clear that she bled orange even before she got here. Throughout conversations with our committee, she conveyed an unparalleled passion for joining the Syracuse University community while eloquently articulating her ambitious goals for our university, particularly reestablishing its renowned research institution. She has had great momentum to build on and after in just the past few weeks, with Syracuse University being involved in the historic discovery of gravitational waves and has its research classification boosted up to a top-tier research institution in our nation. Dr. Whately told us that she's committed to this opportunity, determined to help to take the university to the next level, and fully ready to immerse herself in everything that makes Syracuse University special, a special place to live, work, and study. It was then that I knew that she was going to be our next Vice Chancellor and Provost. Looking back on the search process and reflecting on where we are today, my only disappointment is that I'm only going to have a short amount of time to work with her and collaborating with her before I graduate in May. But I do think that together, we will be able to accomplish great things, and I know Michele and my successor will definitely do that. Now, please join me in welcoming Chancellor Subaru to the stage.
So Aisha, we are counting on Aisha graduating in 10 weeks. We didn't know, she's graduating from Whitman. We didn't know when she started that she'd also be getting a certificate in higher education administration, because this is one of 3 top executive searches she is representing Student Association on, and this is just the first, so hopefully you'll see her at 2 other great announcements before the year is up. I'm very grateful, Aisha, for doing that on top of everything else. I want to thank, before I thank anybody else, I want to thank Dr. Whately's family who are here. I know others may say something about them, but I want to say, having moved a family to Syracuse not so long ago, this is a warm and welcoming place, and you will find it in many ways. And yet, nevertheless, asking you to move your whole lives here so that one member of the family can give their all 18 hours a day, 7 days a week is a lot. So to Stan, who is Michele's spouse, to Skip and Marguerite and Veronica, we're very grateful for you letting her do this and supporting her in this, and we want to be supportive to you in whatever way you need in the years ahead. And some of them have driven a long way to be here and are driving right back for 7 hours. So could we say thank you to her family? This was an extraordinary search committee. It was a long search. I thank them all. I thank Pat Mautino from the Board of Trustees, who represented the board, and Jim Brewer, a former trustee, who also served wonderfully. I thank some great faculty members from across the university: Jean-Francois Bedard, Taj Bhatia, Keith Bybee, Alejandro Garcia, Christina Marchetti, and Ian McInnes, all of whom were spectacular. I thank Dean Lorraine Branham from Newhouse, who represented deans in the search. I thank Vice Chancellor Mike Haney. I thank the Director of Budget and Planning, Gwen Judge, Patrick Neary, past president of the Graduate Student Organization, who represented graduate students in the search, and Aisha Sadat. And most thankfully, their fearless leader in quite a journey, Charlie Driscoll, who really led with great examples of great leadership all the way along the way. Thank you, Charlie. The search was aided by Nancy Freeman from Business, Finance, and Administrative Services and Angel Reyna from the Chancellor's Office to make sure the process ran smoothly, and I'm grateful to them. I'm also grateful to our interim Vice Chancellor and Provost, Liz Liddy, who has spent the past 14 months in this role and has been instrumental in successfully crafting the university's academic strategic plan and setting up her successor for success. She's had a real entrepreneurial and collaborative spirit, and I'm grateful so much to you, Liz, not just for what's happened so far, but between now and commencement as well. And in order to enable Liz to do this, Jeff Stanton stepped up as Dean of the iSchool and has been a spectacular leader in the iSchool as Dean, and I think we should all thank Jeff as well. So it was a long search. It was a genuine open search characterized by a process with collaboration, with shared governance, including with the Agenda Committee of the Senate, which helped select many of the members of the search committee. It was a search that had spectacular nominees, I want to say. Many who have been so wonderful at other institutions and at this one, and to whom I'm grateful. It is a search that got a lot of people excited and a lot of people anxious as it went on. A lot of people asked me about it throughout the process. I think people were excited and anxious because they knew what an opportunity this role has for Syracuse University, an opportunity to shape the future here in so many areas, teaching, research, service, and student experience, as well as service to the community. With so many amazing students and people and ideas happening here, it was an opportunity to reach higher, become even better. And today I'm the one who's excited and I am not anxious, I tell you. I'm really excited because I know Michele Wheatley is the right person to lead us forward at this critical time in our history. She has demonstrated the kind of leadership that enhances the student experience, that empowers research excellence, that ensures academic quality and embraces change. The Board of Trustees agrees with that. They agree that Michele will bring tremendous strengths and promise to this university, and the Executive Committee of the Board has unanimously approved her appointment. She is a visionary academic leader, an internationally recognized scholar, as you heard Charlie just summarize, including such continuous funding from the National Science Foundation. She's taught and mentored undergraduate and graduate students for nearly 30 years. She is an experienced, indeed an expert provost, who while at West Virginia helped recruit more than 100 outstanding research faculty. She provided a pathway to success for more than 150 women via the Women's Leadership Initiative, a program she created and managed while at West Virginia. Michele has dedicated her career in addition to promoting equality, diversity, and inclusiveness in the classroom and on the campus, and is committed to continuing to doing that at Syracuse. She is passionate about bringing diverse interests together in the pursuit of interdisciplinary scholarship. She has a deep belief that no education is complete without the liberal arts. Her experience and its extensive experience in creating and implementing academic strategic plans makes her the ideal person to lead in our own strategic planning now. She's going to be critical to the leadership at this university as we enhance our stature as a great, engaged, thriving, diverse international research university. And so I'm overjoyed to welcome her to Syracuse University. I look forward to all the great things all of us here today and all Syracuse people around the world are going to do together under her leadership. So thank you, Michele, for being here.
Thank you, Chancellor, and thank Tej and Aisha. We're getting close to the end of the program. We have only one more speaker, but she's obviously the most important. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to introduce Michele Wheatley. Michele received her BSc and her PhD from Birmingham University in the Biological Sciences and Comparative Physiology. She has had academic and administrative appointments in a number of universities, including the University of Florida, Wright State, and West Virginia University. As the Chancellor and I have said, she's received a number of honors and awards. I am particularly pleased today to introduce Michele Wheatley as the Vice Chancellor and Provost of Syracuse University.
Wow, what a welcome. I'm looking out over this audience and I'm almost at a loss for words. It's so nice that you gave me this welcome reception in the Life Sciences building, made me feel at home right from the very start. And I mentioned to the chair of the department in which I'm now tenured that I'll come over here for therapy, come over and talk about calcium transport and other things that are close to my heart. So I'm just so incredibly humbled and honored at the same time to be named as the Vice Chancellor and Provost Designate of Syracuse University. I do want to, first of all, address my family, and I would like you to just rise so people can see who you are. Thank you. My husband, Stan Smith, we've been celebrating 30 years together, so he's been on a long journey with me. He's actually a retired entrepreneur, and he's also a veteran of the Vietnam era in the U.S. Navy, so I think he's going to look for some opportunities to work with volunteers and veterans while he's here. And then our 3 children who've managed to get here on planes, trains, and automobiles this weekend. Our son, Stanley, who's working for PricewaterhouseCoopers in New York City. And then our beloved twin daughters, Veronica and Marguerite. One is graduating this semester with a degree in marketing, and her sister Marguerite is graduating in theater technology and design. And I've heard there's a getaway car outside because at 4 o'clock they need to do the skedaddle and drive 7 hours back to Morgantown so that one of them can take a test tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. So I really appreciate you all being here. And of course, you don't end up in a position like this without the love and support of family. Next thing I've got to do is set the record straight about the orange purse. Could you please show the orange purse, Aisha? So there was quite a bit of discussion about the orange purse. You know, when you go for a finalist interview on a campus, it's always nice to show a little bit of school spirit, and I'd learned ahead of time that you guys really bleed orange. So I invested in the orange purse. Well, wouldn't you know it, one of the daughters takes one look at the designer of the purse, and she says to me, "Hey, Mom, if you don't get the job, can I get the purse?" Well, you know, we struck a deal, and then, of course, I end up getting the job. So, of course, her interpretation of the deal is now that I have the job, then she needs to get something of her own choosing, a purse that is comparable to the one. So do we have students in the audience? Because a provost always wants to solicit input from students. Students who are maybe living in their parents' basement, eating pot noodles, and trying to think about how to make that first and last month's rent when they move out of the household. What's a provost to do? Aisha, you make the executive decision. Okay, so joking aside, you know, I want to talk a little bit about my journey, less in the context of my journey, but more in the context of the journey that we all take in the academy to be able to change tomorrow. You know, it's been much written that I actually was raised in North London by parents with an 8th grade education in a row home. And I want to speak to the humanities and the arts because I was raised, first of all, and educated by my parents in the humanities and the arts. They just raised us with a voracious love of reading. We still read voraciously, and we were raised in a television-free home, which my children, of course, would think would be a form of child abuse. We made all of our own entertainment. The only luxury we had was private music lessons, so we entertained ourselves. And, you know, the first thing I ever learned about education was the importance of the human condition, learning through the arts what it was to have empathy, and understanding what had happened in the past so that we could somewhat interpret the future. And these things really gave me an amazing skill set so that when I started solving differential equations and learning the components of the citric acid cycle, I had this backbone of the liberal arts, particularly the humanities. So, you know, I've had a long journey, and as I made my way through, I have to tell you that people believed in me. I've worked at some of the finest educational establishments in the world. And remember that I came through the STEM fields at a time when there weren't very many women. And so there were white men who believed in my capability as a researcher, who worked with me, who mentored me and nurtured me. And so I'm speaking now to all the faculty. It's so important that we invest time and talent in the youth for tomorrow, the thinkers of tomorrow, the creators of tomorrow, the writers of tomorrow. And so I want to thank you in advance for all the lives that will be transformed because of the impact of a Syracuse education. The other thing is I appreciate standing here that there were many people who contributed their money and their resources to make my dream a reality. I'm talking about the local education authority in England, the taxpayers, the Alberta Heritage Foundation for Biomedical Research, and most importantly, the U.S. National Science Foundation, which has invested in me, just is beyond my wildest dream. And so again, as we look at some of the students that will need to be educating at Syracuse, we really need to think about making these pathways affordable and finding ways to provide for the need-based aids that some of our students are going to need in order to be successful. So really, I'm standing here today in great gratitude to all of the places I've worked and all of my collaborators, my students who've taught me so much in my profession, and all of the people who've enabled this journey, because none of us get here alone. And I know there are many of you thinking about the people who facilitated your journey too. So I arrive now at Syracuse University, and so my last vote of thanks would be to all of you, especially to Chancellor Syverud, who has invested so much faith in me. And I want to stand in front of all of you, all of the faculty, the staff, the students, the alumni, the board members, and really give you my pledge. I will work my heart and soul out for Syracuse University. I know what this job entails. It's very time intensive. I will be there with you all the way, and I will do everything I can to be successful so that Syracuse in 10 years from now will be an even better place with even more national and international recognition. I want to talk a little bit about this fit that I see from my perspective as the new provost. They talk in these executive searches about fit, and it's a bit like the glass slipper finding Cinderella, or the last piece in a jigsaw puzzle. And everybody kept telling me in my search, you'll know when the fit is right. And I can tell you from the first time that I walked into Lubin House on the Friday night and had the opportunity to meet the Chancellor for the first time, I knew the place was different. And without divulging too much of our conversation, Kent, I'm going to tell you one thing that happened that really just impressed me. You go on a job interview and you pretty much just starting to play the script through your mind and you expect certain questions. And when I joined the Chancellor, it was interesting how he completely reversed the psychology of the interview. And his very first question for me, knowing that I'd already served as a provost, he said, well, Michele, how can I make this job one that appeals to you and a job in which you can grow, a portfolio that would challenge you and help you in your professional development? And I just left that office and I thought, I really want that job. Because it just seemed so astonishing that Chancellor Syverud would want to assemble a team and care so deeply about each and every one of his team members being able to complete or continue their own journey as an intellectual, but also as a higher ed administrator. And that's the kind of team I want to join, because I want to provide that same kind of mentorship and leadership for the Council of Deans and for all the students here at the university. So when I think about the fit, I think of two things that come to mind very quickly. Number one would be quality. And I've led a life that's really focused on the quality of everything I do. The quality of my interactions with people, the quality of my research, my instruction, and I see Syracuse University as a place that really emphasizes quality. You are known throughout the nation and the world as being a quality institution. The second thing is that you have gone out ahead of the issue of access beyond compliance. It's very impressive. You know, I've led a life of difference, being a woman in a STEM field, and then, of course, emigrating and having a foreign accent, and it goes on and on. But I've had a thought that, you know, I've lived and dwelt upon the difference, and I've gone with the difference, and the difference has led me to an amazing career and an amazing life. And so I think we're at a time in higher education where we've really got to embrace the difference, bring people together from different backgrounds, different ethnic and racial origins, different degrees of ability, different lenses on a discipline, different parts of the world. And we've really got to come together to start to think about the world's problems. And so I first really encountered Syracuse about 20 years ago when I was hired at Wright State University. I don't know whether you know this, but it was built to be completely handicapped accessible. And they've got very forward-thinking programs in disability, in the area of disability. And many of our people had been trained at Syracuse. I started working with others to build a large platform of programming using technology as a tool to enable learning and life processes for people with profound physical disabilities. And at least one of my students and collaborators ended up coming out here to Syracuse. And so I would come and visit and take the campus tour really just as a friend of the family. That was when I first knew that Syracuse was a really different place that really built upon the idea of being different and trying to really create a future that would be very different. So quality and access are really the fit as far as I'm concerned. So I really want to thank you all for being here today. I'm going to now tell you what I need you all to do for me, because I think pledges go both ways. And what I need to do is to have you accept me and trust me. I need you to teach me, because even though I know a lot about higher ed and I know a lot about universities in general, I don't yet know the Syracuse community and the culture inside Syracuse University. So I need each and every one of you to correct me if I go in the wrong direction or say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. But we have to be partners, because really the only way we're going to be able to execute this very ambitious plan that Chancellor Syverud has for the university is with everybody headed in the same direction. So on that note, I'd like to conclude my remarks with a very familiar refrain. Thank you, go Orange.
Okay, thank you. That concludes our program, and I think we're going to have a reception here to follow. And so thank you very much. What? Oh, okay. Sorry, we have a performance. Sorry,
Hi, we're Orange Appeal, and we'll be singing the school alma mater. Feel free to sing along.
Meets the eastern sky, proudly stands our alma mater on her hilltop high. Flag we love, orange, floats for aye, old Syracuse o'er thee. Loyal be thy sons and daughters to thy memory.